Happy Football Friday. Welcome to Pick Central, Barstool's daily gambling show. It is your boy Big Ev. I am here with Chris Clemmer. I believe Smitty's going to be joining us via Zoom soon. We got Meek Phil, we got Diego, we got Jason behind the booth. I'm excited, Clemmer. Friday. Unfortunately, no football tomorrow, not tonight, but championship Sunday upon us, 2 days away. I'm fired up for it. I think we're going to get some... I was gonna say I think we get some good games, but actually, I think we might not. But I'm excited for football.
I think we're gonna get some great games. No, you don't think so?
I think there's a chance we might get 2 blowouts.
Oh,
I was having that revelation on my walk home yesterday. I was starting to think these thoughts. I was like, you know what? We might get 2 blowouts. I think that's not entirely out of the equation.
I'm really excited about these matchups. Ever since we had the Chiefs-Bills to end last week, right? So I was looking at like, oh my God, these last 4 games are matchups that I would have drawn up in a perfect world. These are teams I'm genuinely excited about. Teams I actually really like, all 4 teams a lot. And it's like, all right, whoever comes out of these games, the Super Bowl's gonna be awesome. I
agree with that. See, I think the Ravens game being a blowout, probably a hot take. The other one, maybe not so much, but some might disagree with me. I do. We're gonna finish with the games. We obviously talked a lot about the games all this week. I want to touch on a few different things quick before we get into the games as a final thing. Talk a little. We had the coaching carousel yesterday, literally right after we get off the air. I was talking about Vrabel going to the Panthers. They hired Cornelius, who's like this second coming, this next big quarterback guru.
Yeah, the quarterback whisperer, right?
He's done a great job with all these offenses from Geno Smith and then Baker last year.
Yep.
Which he was only, I believe he was a quarterback's coach prior to last year. If my understanding is correct, he was only a quarterback's coach, or excuse me, only offensive coordinator at all this season.
I believe that's right.
And is now a head coach.
Right.
But, I mean, these guys are the ones getting hired now. It's tough because I think we've seen a lot of time. We've seen it work in some ways, like even like a McVay. We've seen that like great coordinators go up to head coaches and it works. And some, I think you just because you're a great offensive mind or a great defensive mind doesn't always mean you're a great head coach.
That's true. But I kind of like a team that's rebuilding, a team has like, really kind of starting from scratch in a lot of ways. Really young quarterback, having like a young guy with maybe different ideas that can go in there and kind of shake things up. I don't mind that.
No, I think with Bryce Young, it's probably a good hire.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're all in on him. You're not, like we talked about yesterday, like the Rosen, that whole Arizona situation a few years ago, entirely different than that. They obviously, like Bryce Young, your guy, for better or for worse, for at least the next...
We don't have a pick this year anyway, so...
We're called at least the next 2 or 3 years, just bare minimum. So I don't hate it. And the Falcons hire Raheem Morris.
So that's interesting.
His second stint. We're joined by Smitty now. Smitty, we got you? We're just talking about literally right after we get off the air yesterday, we're talking about Vrabel to Carolina now. Cornelius is the guy, the hot young quarterback guy. Then Atlanta hires Raheem Morris, his second stint as a head coach. And... Clemmer, I feel like might be a little chipper about this. Looks like Belichick people just don't want him.
No, because you don't want to deal with Belichick, the GM. This is what I've been saying since for the past 3 years, and this is exactly what happened in Atlanta. And it was a power struggle there internally. People in Atlanta did not want Belichick to come in because obviously I'm sure they wanted their own control. But Bill Belichick is a lot of baggage, and a lot of teams don't want to deal with Belichick, the GM. And he is like I said it before. Bill Belichick's about 2 things: lying and control. And and when he doesn't have control, then he's not going to want to work there.
Because I was thinking about it. I think I know I read. I might have mentioned on the show a few weeks ago that the betting favorite was him not to coach a team.
Huh.
So it came out. It was like betting, and then like right below it was like Falcons.
So what happens now with him? I mean, he's 72, right?
Wait a second. Was that before or after they announced McCarthy was coming back?
I believe before.
Okay.
I think it was before. I could be wrong on that. I think it was before. It might have been, but I think regardless, still, I think it was something that was like basically like a plus 150 to like not coach, and then it was like 250 the Falcons, and then like a little it was somebody else.
I'm more interested to see if it's Belichick's decision to kind of sit back and wait, or if no teams actually didn't want him.
I could answer that right now. It's not his decision. He went on interviews. People didn't want him.
Well, he went on one interview with the Falcons.
Didn't he talk to the Chargers too?
Did he?
I thought he had done multiple with the Falcons.
He did 2 interviews with the Falcons. Yeah. So obviously he wanted to work there. And obviously they didn't want him. At the end of the day.
I don't know. Like Belichick also interviewed for the Jets and accepted that position and then wrote that away. So I'm not going to get into his psyche, but for people not wanting him and not going out of their way to interview him, and even like McCarthy staying over the opportunity of Belichick, I think it has to do a lot with one thing. With Tom Brady, 249 and 75.
Yep.
Without Tom Brady, 84 and 103.
You say those numbers to Patriots fans, and they get so angry. Like, they don't like those facts, which exactly they are. They're facts.
Bill Belichick took Mac Jones to the playoffs, baby.
Yeah, right. The guys, and that's, you mentioned that too, and that's a big number. That's like 12 seasons of coaching that he had without Brady. So it's not like a small sample size.
Yeah, he finished. I mean, he took the Browns to the playoffs one year.
Yep.
But he was below 500.
Yes.
When it was all said and done.
Now, Patriots fans will say, well, that team was about to move to Baltimore. It wasn't a fair situation, which is bullshit. He was there for 5 years.
Different era. That was 30 fucking years ago.
Yes, it was.
A long time ago. Or 25.
Now, I wonder if, because obviously Bill Belichick's such a great defensive mind, I wonder if there was a scenario where like Clemmer brings up the control thing, if maybe he talks to the Falcons and they could use a reforming of their defense. I think any could, but especially that one that has some young pieces there, some good talent. It has a lot of pieces on offense. I wonder if their perspective was if he would be the head coach, basically be the head coach and run the defense and let someone just totally control the offense, let him pick that guy. I wonder how much like that came into it with the Falcons, where they wanted that, didn't want that. Also, something I thought about too is, which I think is kind of like a no-brainer, all these teams now, they always want to like zig and zag. Like they always want to go from, if you had the quarterback coach or the offensive guy, now you hire the defensive guy.
Yeah.
Which Belichick obviously would have fit that mold with Arthur Smith. They go Raheem Morris, who also was also a defensive guy. So I wonder if how much him wanting to control the offense, things like that, or him like picking who runs the offense. Because usually head coaches do get to pick their coordinators, but I wonder how much that came into play, or if it did at all.
He wanted to control the whole roster. I would imagine Belichick's whole thing isn't just the coordinators; it's the whole team.
I would imagine so, but
but he didn't say that in New England. But you're only basing your opinion on that because you think Bill Belichick is the biggest liar of all time.
No, I'm not only basing on that. I mean, reports have come out.
Part of it.
A number of reports have come out.
You can say part of it.
No, I mean, a number of reports have come out that people in Atlanta did not want him because he wanted to control multiple parts of the organization.
I thought he said in New England towards the end that he didn't care.
Which is bullshit, and that's exactly what he...
Well, that's you.
But that's what he wants you to believe. That's not... I judge a man by his actions, not his words. Look at Bill Belichick's entire career. He's been about control. He's with New England. He's the GM. Why? Because he wanted it. Because he wanted that control. He wanted to control the roster.
He also earned it.
Sure. I mean,
he earned it.
Yeah, he earned it.
He earned it and then lost.
Did he earn it though? Just because you're a great coach, does that make you a great GM?
But they also never really had it. They never really had a
documentary in the draft room. Belichick was the one and went up to the board and said, "Wow, that kid Brady is still on the board."
Yeah, I mean, and it was the greatest draft pick of all time. So
so he earned it.
Okay,
they always kind of had that joint, like there's the Scott Pioli was like the guy.
Right.
Shadow 845 is a Washingtonville, New York guy, town over from me. It was always like him or like these other guys that were kind of like, what do they call them, like head of player personnel, like never the full. They never like titled a GM. Besides then, Belichick finally was like the GM/coach. But I don't know. It's interesting. The question I want to ask before we go on to something else, I'll start with Smitty. Do you think, if he sits out a year, his stock goes up or down in terms of future? You think up?
I definitely think it goes up, especially if he wants to coach. Teams will get desperate. If McCarthy goes out the same way next year as he did this year, he's the Cowboys coach in my mind.
So I push back on that a little bit, Smitty. So he's going to be 73 next. Like if he sits out a year, he's 73. Now it's starting to, and he's also chasing George Halas and Don Shula for the most wins of all time. I think he's like 20 behind or something like that. So I start to wonder, how long can a 72-year-old man sit out?
I agree with you. But I'm also... It's interesting that they went with the Bucs offensive coordinator and Raheem Morris. Basically the last two job openings for Belichick. Well, Belichick wasn't even on the Panthers, but he's not going to the Seahawks or Commanders either as of now. I wonder why these teams are choosing these guys over established Vrabel and Belichick.
I'm confused too. What's going on with the Seahawks job, Ev? Do you know what's going? Like, who's getting that?
Aren't they saying
Dan Quinn?
They were saying Dan Quinn, but they could have hired him
Dan
by
Quinn's
now.
a favorite, but
True.
I just want to throw one more team out there. The Buffalo Bills should fire Sean McDermott 4 days ago and hire Bill Belichick.
That's also
true.
That's been like the hot story. Like I saw Rex Ryan said it. I've seen some people on Twitter say it. That'd be like the hot thing. I feel like
you want to talk about a perfect scenario for Belichick?
That would be something.
That would be a perfect scenario for Belichick. You come in, you already have an established quarterback. You have talent already.
Same division.
You're respected. Same division. Buffalo would welcome him with open arms.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think so.
I would think
I think they'd have I think initially they'd have a moment of like, this is weird. I think, listen, winning solves everything. So if he comes in and wins, it changes like that. But I think there'd be an initial moment of like I remember when this is for different. I was gonna say the Giants when we hired Jason Garrett, which is a little bit different, obviously credentials.
It's not entirely different. I hear you saying.
There's just like a weird thing of like your rival, like you're like, I don't know, Belichick's the greatest, so I think it'd be a little more. They'd get around it faster.
I mean, I was a Jets fan when they hired Parcells, who was just with the Patriots, and I was not upset at all. I was pretty fucking happy.
And look what the Bills are dealing with. I mean, the fans are frustrated. At least my Bills fans that I know. McDermott should have been out before this season. If you're upgrading from McDermott to Bill Belichick, why not take that chance? And conversely, if you end up letting McDermott go, in which probably would have been already, I guess. But if you end up doing it, how else are you going to improve other than like a Belichick? Are you going to go out and hire like another retread or I guess Vrabel? But like Belichick would be the legitimate easy solution there to make everybody happy, or at least give a chance.
So I obviously hate Bill Belichick. You know, I hate him more than anybody else in sports, so I'm obviously very biased here. But I'm really shocked Vrabel never got, because I really think very highly of him. I'm shocked that it never worked out for him to get a job anywhere among these openings.
Yeah, I'm surprised too. He's someone who, if he sits out here, his stock could go through the roof, I think.
I think you're right.
Like he just has a proven track record. He's done a lot with not a lot, which is in the NFL, I think, very impressive. I mean, this man took Ryan Tannehill to an AFC Championship game.
Vrabel is going to go to TV for a year, make a shit ton of money, be personable. Everyone's going to love him, and then he's going to go right back.
You think he's a TV? Not that I think he would do good on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would. I just get a vibe that maybe he wouldn't want to, at least right now. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll see. Maybe he'll be on ESPN or Fox tomorrow, and I don't even realize it. But
I don't know. A couple of people here would have those connections to find out. I don't.
It's true. I just think I think he's a fucking awesome coach. I think it's crazy.
I think he's great. I'm shocked.
Would want him.
I thought there'd be a line out the door for him, and the fact that we're basically the musical chairs are almost over here, and he didn't have a job. I'm shocked.
Like I said, just to wrap it up, I thought Carnales is a good hire, but I really thought the Panthers for them would have been a good fit. But I get it with the Bryce Young thing.
It was a small sample size, but he was offensive calling his dick off against the Eagles in the offensive or in the wild card game, and he looked really good against the Lions too.
And look at Baker's stats for the year too.
No, yeah, we said it quick before you got on speed. Just the fit of Bryce Young and him. It just you're all in on Bryce Young. It makes sense to go in on a guy like that.
But real quick with Raheem Morris, I mean, Stephen Shea was scared of that. I mean, yeah, we're going to Stephen Shea for football advice here, but I mean, when he was with the Bucks.
It didn't work out.
What did Raheem Morris show with the Bucks?
He had one good year.
Would prove that he is a better hire than of Mike Vrabel
or Bill Belichick.
I think the point's very fair. I thought Vrabel would have been a great. I think almost with all said and done, I almost think that would have been the best fit.
Well, in fairness,
Vrabel would have been Atlanta.
In fairness to Morris, he has a lifetime record of 21-38. That's a .356 winning percentage. So I mean, there you go.
Now I do think that a guy like you. Guys deserve a second chance. Like I think there's not over. Listen, sure. I think Vrabel would have been the better hire, easily on paper. Obviously,
people forget he was the coach of the Falcons. He was an interim coach. Went 4-7, 2020.
All right. Wish you the best, Raheem Morris. I'm not. At least I'll speak for myself. I'm not rooting against you to do.
No, I'm not rooting. I think
poorly in Atlanta.
He's still young. He's only 47.
I think that's why he's getting a second chance.
Well, what do the 36 real Falcons fans feel about this?
I don't know.
I don't know any.
I know it's all. Exactly. I know is I have a friend that lives down there. It's very easy to get season tickets. But we got. I would say, figure the Hall of Fame, Baseball Hall of Fame. Moving on, Baseball Hall of Fame dropped. Got a couple of baseball guys here. I figured we talk about it a little bit. We hadn't yet. So I wrote down all the percentages of the guys that at least like made the board. Obviously, Adrian Beltre, Todd Helton, Mauer get the call to Cooperstown. Yep. Beltre gets 95% strong. Helton gets just shy of 80, and Mauer gets 76. Billy Wagner just misses
by 5 votes.
By 5 votes, just under 74%.
Yeah.
The list of the guys, there's a few guys that got like pretty close. Wagner got close. Gary Sheffield got just about 64%. Andrew Jones just under 62%. And Carlos Beltran 57%. Big drop off to that. Like A-Rod 35.
Yeah.
Manny 32, and it kind of just falls
never
into
get
that.
It.
I say, who do you guys think? I think Wagner would get it in the next time.
Well, he has to. So that was Gary Sheffield's last year in the ballot, so he's off.
Oh, I didn't realize. Okay.
No, so he's done. So
which is nuts.
Well, he's steroid guy. Balco ties. If you read Game of Shadows, he claims it was inadvertent, but if you read Game of Shadows, there's a lot of smoking guns there.
That's why. You say yours, and I'll say mine.
I mean, that's just why he's not getting it. But Billy Wagner.
No, I know, but all those guys lumped together, I feel like, fuck it at this point. There's no reason why Roger Clemens should not be in the Hall of Fame at this point. There's no reason why Barry Bonds or A-Rod should not be in the Hall of Fame. That's just my opinion. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we can argue whether they should be or whether they're going to be, which are two different questions, I guess. So Billy Wagner's last year in the ballot is next year. So I think he will get in, and I think he's going to join a class of Ichiro and CC Sabathia. They're both first-year guys next year. So I think that will be a Hall of Fame class next year.
Think CC? 300 wins. Yeah.
He didn't get 300 wins.
I think CC.
No, I think he had a 246. I'm going by memory. I could be wrong, but he did not get 300 wins. But he is dominant enough where I think he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And then obviously Ichiro. Ichiro numbers could be huge. Okay. I mean, he could get 100%.
Is there anyone else coming on the ballot next year you think will be close?
No, I think the next guy down would be like Ian Kinsler, Felix Hernandez, Dustin Pedroia. They just didn't play long enough.
So Felix, you think no?
No, he didn't get 200 wins.
Okay.
251 for CC.
Oh, I was up by 5. It's not too bad.
250 almost is like. I feel
that's become the new 300.
I was
honestly,
say 2 cross 250 now is crazy.
Wins shouldn't even count for
that's
any sort of acclimates anymore.
You're not wrong, Smitty. And CC Sabathia, his durability and stuff, and obviously as a World Series ring, just a great player, deserves to be in. Interesting. Some other names you mentioned there, though, like Carlos Beltran.
3,000 strikeouts. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, 3,093.
Carlos Beltran will get in eventually. He's obviously still being punished because of the cheating scandal. Now, you can argue this because I'm an anti-steroid guy, but I would vote for Beltran. And you could say, well, Clemmer, you're a hypocrite here. And I really can't argue that. Like I know, like I'm going to be honest with you guys because I see it differently. But you could poke holes in that argument all day. You know what I mean? I'm being honest. I'm being like transparent here.
So I'll give Clemmer. So Clemmer, you're filling out a ballot.
Yes.
Who would you have voted for this year?
I would have voted for Bobby Abreu, which I know a lot of people wouldn't have.
He's at 14.8%.
Yeah. So that's kind of a weird one. I would have voted for the 3 guys that got in: Beltre, Mauer, and Helton. I would have voted for Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones,
Jimmy Rollins.
Nope. I wouldn't vote for. And I'm thinking of forgetting one. Oh, Billy Wagner. I'd vote for him as well.
What about you, Smitty? Any differences?
Hometown bias, obviously. Utley and Jimmy Rollins are getting in, and also human bias. I would have not voted Billy Wagner just because I don't like him as an individual. But other than that, I think it's pretty standard. Didn't Beltre have some steroid concerns too?
No.
No?
I mean,
just allegations.
Look, Frank made a great point the other day. He's like, listen, if you think that we haven't already voted in someone that did steroids, you're out of your mind.
Fair.
So, like, there were rumors about Mike Piazza, who I'm met. I don't. Never proven. The thing with A-Rod and
A-Rod never failed a drug test.
Oh yeah, but he got ties and he admitted to it.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, Manny failed drug tests. Like, so that's the thing is like. Roger Clemens never failed a drug test. Barry Bonds never failed a drug test. So, like, do you vote those guys in because they never technically even got suspended?
Yeah, but Clemens and Bonds, they're 2 pitchers, or they're 2 players where obviously steroids aided their dominance through their 40s.
Right.
It's just completely unprecedented. But those 2 guys in A-Rod specifically, they were Hall of Famers even if they never took the juice or the clear.
Well, so were Clemens and Bonds.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A-Rod, Bonds, and Clemens.
Yes.
They'd be Hall of Famers regardless. Possibly, even arguably, the most dominant players ever, even without
Yeah, I mean, you start to see Clemens deteriorate in the 90s. He obviously got that boost after 96, but.
So it's tough. I just love even Manny Ramirez. Like Manny Ramirez, yeah, he's got the allegations. Manny Ramirez, outside of Bonds, for what was it, 2008 when he was on the Dodgers? That was the best pure hitter.
He was juiced to the gills. It's not even allegations. He failed drug tests. It's not an allegation. It's a fact. He used steroids, and that's exactly when he got suspended.
Bat the ball. He was one of the greatest. You couldn't get anything by him, man. He was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, he was cheating. It helps. And he probably did it, and honestly, I don't think I'm stretching the truth too much here. I don't think he probably did his whole career.
No shit. I mean, back until I guess that was after Palmeiro was waving the finger in court.
Yes.
But how many people were taking it from the minors on, or taking something throughout baseball history? I mean, how many players in the 60s were talking about amphetamines?
Yeah, but there's a huge difference in amphetamines and steroids with how they affect play. And that's just proven by look at the numbers in the steroid era compared to everywhere else. Like the edge you get on steroids is so much larger than what you get from amphetamines. So I think it's a false equivalence.
But they're two illegal substances when it comes to the game.
Right, but that's like saying if you go 56 and a 55 is the same as murdering someone. Well, they're both crimes. It's like, well, no, one has a substantially different impact.
I get what you're saying. I get the pushback against steroids, but the steroid era was just so much fun.
And I also understand, like you said, I'm gonna throw myself under the bus. Who am I to say Beltran cheating in a World Series isn't more damaging than what those guys did? That was with the Astros. It was horrible, and I don't think I've completely wrapped my head around with it. I've read a couple books about it, but like what they did was really terrible, and maybe I shouldn't be voting for Beltran. And maybe we should hold those guys in a darker light. I don't know.
With the steroid era, like I have it's very hard to believe that if one person was taking, everybody wasn't taking it. Like I think everybody was almost everybody was just doing something.
A lot of guys were not everyone. I hate everyone though, because like Kurt Schilling wasn't, Frank Thomas wasn't. So some guys weren't. But were the majority of guys doing it? Yeah, probably.
That's what I was going to say. I would bet it was the majority.
Yes, I think that's pretty fair.
Especially watching these
guys.
And
I don't blame them either.
Think about from the perspective
minor league player on the fringe of making it,
right,
to staying in the minor leagues, I'm fucking horse testosterone right up my ass. Let's go and do it. Like look at Brady Anderson. Yeah, he's a stick, and all of a sudden hits 50 in 1 year. Of course, he's juicing.
And that was a guy that already had a job.
Difference of millions of dollars.
What about a guy like Mark Quinn in the Royals? Like he was a AAA player, but he used steroids, and he was able to go have a nice year at the Royals and able to have some money for his family. Like so, like you see that, and you're like, but then again, I feel bad for the guy in AAA that didn't use, and a guy like Mark Quinn jumped over him. So it's like that's not fair either.
I just see you're going off like guys that needed it to make it. I just see a guy in the clubhouse. Sees a guy going steroids. He's getting all these numbers, all these accolades. He's getting big contracts. They're not at least they're not giving a fuck about it, whether people are testing for them, they're not testing, whatever. It'd almost be like hard not to.
Yeah.
In that circumstance, you're seeing these guys like get these huge contracts, all this. You're like, fuck, I want a piece of that. All I got to do is do this, and I'll just be this X amount better of a baseball player.
But Ev, herd mentality is a thing when it comes to this.
Sure.
I played football D3 and we sucked. We won, I think, 8 games in the 4 years I was there, 4 in the 2 years that I actually played. And I bet you D3, worthless, not going anywhere, over 50% of the people I played with were juicing. And league-wide, in like the teams that were playing, I think that was closer to like 80. So if that's happening at a D3 level in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, of course it's going on in MLB, in my opinion, because of that.
No, I agree. Before we move on, I want to ask Clemmer, you might know this, or maybe Smitty does too.
I did not juice in college, by the way. That's why I sucked.
For the record.
Rough and rowdy?
Only after college.
It might take a little rinse straw.
Only after college.
Yeah, Lou might just give me some pills that are lying around his room.
Here, take this. Hey, 1-0.
Light switch.
1-0.
Yeah.
That rough and rowdy, it's not a banned substance.
People think that like maybe into a god. Like what? No. Like
maybe
it gave me a placebo effect. I wasn't even using it correctly.
Barry Bonds still got to hit the ball.
That's true.
But has anyone ever made the Hall of Fame starting at like such a low number, percentage-wise, in terms of votes?
Anyone
in like recent memory?
Well, Helton, right? Didn't he have 16%?
I
think his first year was 16%. We see that more and more. Like, I think it's because people make their votes public. There's more of like a group mentality where people
it's a mob mentality for sure.
People before were much more individualistic with it. So yeah, I think Helton's first year was 16%, and now he's in, which you would never have seen 25 years ago.
So I'm gonna ask. There's about like 9 or 10 names here that are under 30% that got votes. I'm gonna read them off and I'll ask each of you one or two guys you think actually has a chance to get in. Utley was about 29%. Omar Vizquel about 18%. Your boy Abreu 15%. Rollins 15%. Pettit 14%. Burley 8%. K-Rod 8%. Torrey Hunter 7%, and David Wright 6%. Oh, Clemmer, do you think any of those guys have a realistic chance to get in the Hall?
The writers loved Utley. He just didn't play long enough. He didn't get 2,000 hits, I don't believe, so it's going to be tough for him. Vizquel would have probably got in if it wasn't for some of those scandals. It sounds like he's denied them, but there's some allegations there about some horrible things that happened in his clubhouses that he was in. That's holding him back. Maybe Mark Burley, I know 8%. I think it's his second or third year on the ballot, but he does have over 200 wins. But I don't really see much there, no.
What about you, Smitty?
It's Utley's what, first year on the ballot? Second?
Yes, first year.
I think he has a chance.
Yeah, the writers love him.
Yeah, unfortunately, even though I am biased to it, I don't think Jimmy Rollins gets in. I love him. He's one of my favorite Phillies of all time. But the nerds don't like him. The Chris Clemmers of the year put the man down.
No, that's not. I don't put Jimmy Rollins down. That's not fair. I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, Smitty. But I don't. But he's a very good player.
Barry Larkin was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Look at Barry Larkin's stats compared to Jimmy Rollins.
Yeah, they don't compare. What stats? They don't compare very well at all. Like what stats are you talking about? Yeah, I have.
Okay. Barry Larkin versus Jimmy Rollins stats. Okay, games played. Barry Larkin, 2180. Jimmy Rollins, 2275. Over. Plate appearances at bats. Jimmy runs. Jimmy Rollins has more hits. Jimmy Rollins, 2,400 hits. 2455. Barry Larkin, 2340. Doubles. Barry Larkin, 441. Jimmy Rollins, 511. Triples, Barry Larkin, 76. Jimmy Rollins, 115. Home runs, Barry Larkin, 198. Jimmy Rollins, 235. RBIs, Barry Larkin.
RBIs. What are we doing here?
Okay, well, hey, look.
RBIs got kind of a little bit.
Barry Larkin. This is the stuff Barry Larkin was judged on. There wasn't like wins above replacement when Barry Larkin was voted in. It was RBIs. Barry Larkin, 260. Jimmy Rollins, 936. Stolen bases, Barry Larkin, 379. Jimmy Rollins, again, 470.
Do you consider on-base percentage to be like a nerd stat, or do you think that's a real, it's like a real stat,
no,
right?
I know it's a real stat.
Like,
Barry Larkin,
371. Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy Rollins, 324.
That's a huge difference. That's a gigantic. That's a.
But I'm saying when Barry Larkin was voted in, that's
not true.
The meat and potatoes of Hall of Fame voting in what, 19 or 2000?
No, 2000? No. His career ended in 2004. He got voted in 2012, Smitty. That's not true.
Even so, I think the meat and potatoes was runs, hits, RBIs, home runs.
But we know that's not right. We know that's not good. That's not a good way to evaluate talent, though. Like Barry Larkin.
Now we know. But when Barry Larkin was voted in first ballot, Jimmy Rollins would have gotten in with the same criteria.
Maybe. I mean, Steve Garvey never got in. I guess that's kind of an interesting comp. A guy that didn't walk a lot and played a long time. I mean, Barry Larkin's career WAR is 70. Rollins is 47. And I know WAR is not a perfect stat at all. It's a very quick and short one. But there's no stat that like on rate stat that Rollins can compare to Larkin. Like Larkin was a much better player.
Jimmy Rollins has 1,200 more at plate appearances than Barry Larkin, but Barry Larkin grounded into 50 more double plays. Fuck you.
Okay. I mean, I guess Barry Larkin also has almost as many hits in 1,200 less plate appearances. So fuck you. I mean, what are we doing?
We're all Western.
I'm saying,
not really. Double plays and hits are a big difference.
Saying, is Jimmy Rollins going to get in? Probably not.
No, he's not getting in.
Barry Larkin's stats, who was a not unanimous, but
first ballot yep.
Hall of Famer, Jimmy Rollins should probably get more consideration heading into his later Hall of Fame eligibility.
Jimmy Rollins is a really nice player. He's someone I thought like he was on the fence for me. He's not quite there for me.
MVP, World Series champion.
Yep. No, Jimmy Rollins is a really nice player. I just think he's Hall of very good for me. But I mean, if someone wanted to vote, if you like Jimmy Rollins being in the Hall of Fame, I wouldn't deny that at all. I'd be like, all right, I have problems comparing to Barry Larkin, but I don't. But Jimmy Rollins is a fine choice.
Other than Utley, though, I don't think anything comes out, which is a shame for Vizquel with his problems. Because growing up, man, nobody had a glove like Vizquel. Like there was Ozzie Smith, and then Omar Vizquel.
You know what's crazy about that Phillies team that won? They're not going to have a Hall of Famer from that whole team, which is very rare to have a World Series winning team and have a Hall of Famer on it. It's very rare.
Yeah, it's a big shame because Ryan Howard's 2006 to 2011 I'll put up against anybody.
Yeah.
He also started. They brought him up way too late. They should have brought him up.
Utley was like not spring chippy.
No, those guys got especially Utley because obviously Howard got hurt. If Utley gets called up 2 years earlier, he's a Hall of Famer in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have enough. He didn't play long enough.
But I think Utley, especially since Chase is still involved in the game, he's an ambassador to London. Maybe that will like put some favoritism in writers' eyes 2-3 years down the line as he approaches year 5 of eligibility. I think Utley will push him over the top. But you're right. I mean, Cole Hamels probably isn't going to make it. I mean, do you put Jamie Moyer in the Hall of Fame?
No, I think he's already off the ballot.
He's already out.
Yeah.
Brad Lidge, no.
Jason Worth, no. Like, and these are guys that are very good, borderline great careers.
Carlos Ruiz, one of the most underrated catchers of his generation,
but not a Hall of Famer. I mean,
no, not a Hall of Famer,
but still very good career. That's the thing is the Phillies had all these guys that had very good careers.
Mm-hmm. Carlos Ruiz called games for a number of great pitchers and no hitters and perfect games.
By the way, poor Jamie Moyer got 2% of the vote when he was on the ballot. That seems unfair. He had a nice career.
Longevity.
He could say he had. He can say he got Hall of Fame votes.
He did. Oh, right. That's pretty good.
A little feather in the scale. Right. Move on. We'll do NBA. I want to talk about the NBA All Stars real quick before we wrap up with the NFL. They announced the starters yesterday. The East is and starters are Giannis, Embiid, Tatum, Halliburton, and Lillard. We'll get to Lillard in a second. West is Durant, LeBron, Jokic, Luka, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'd imagine me and Smitty might both have gripes with Lillard. I think both of our guys were smited here. I think Brunson. Listen, Maxey is phenomenal. I think Brunson got mightily smited.
Yeah, I think Brunson gets the start. But I mean, it's a popularity contest. Kobe got voted in without even playing a game.
But it also weird this. But I think this one too.
As a rookie,
it has some coaches and players element too. Because I believe at least what I was told, the fan vote was like Trae Young, and then the players and coaches was Lillard, which is crazy. I mean, I understand I'm the Knicks fan in the room, so you can just call bias whatever. I mean, Jalen Brunson is the best player on the 4 seed. That is 2 games back of the fucking. Or is it a half even now of the fucking Sixers? I mean, he's averaging almost 27 points a game. His numbers are he has more points than Lillard, rebounds, assists the same, steals the same, and shooting like 42% from 3, way better from the field. I mean, he got smited last year not being an all-star at all, which was insane. And this year not being a starter is ridiculous. I think Maxey should have even been a starter over Lillard. Even like Donovan Mitchell, which I'm not.
That's the one I saw.
I'm not a Donovan Mitchell guy. He should have been as well.
Wasn't this Lillard's first start? So some people were saying they wanted to push that narrative. You know what I mean? Like,
I think for so long in the West, he just always had to deal with like Steph.
Yeah.
And like other guys, so he always was just like not getting the nod.
So I think they were trying to like crown him, if you will, and unfortunately at the loss of some of your guys.
But what I had at least for the East reserves, I had Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Maxey, Adebayo, Jaylen Brown, Paolo, and Julia. I think Julius Randle should be one as well. For the West, a lot of people are against LeBron being a starter. Saying that that there's other guys like
he's having a pretty good year.
Like even like AD, people think should be even like Anthony Edwards, like he's having an unreal year.
I mean, LeBron in the starting role of the All-Star game, that's just tenure at this point.
20-time All-Star.
But he's having a great year too, though.
He's having great. He obviously should be an All-Star.
20-something, 7-7 or something.
Yeah, no, he's having a great year. He's having a classic LeBron year, 25, 7, and 7.
Yeah, I mean that's
LeBron has earned the right to be an All-Star starter if he wants to play.
20-time All-Star is just insane.
And to still put up numbers like that, it is absolutely mind-boggling.
And then, so for the reserves I had, and like I said, the reserves I just read, these are not final. This is who I think, and just kind of like based on what other people think, what I think, and what is probable. The reserves, I had Curry, Anthony Edwards, Kawhi, AD, Paul George, Booker, and Sabonis. I think the few kind of like you could either like, I think either one of Fox or Sabonis is going to get in probably, it sounds like. Give one of the Kings guys. You know, on the East, we had, I think Trae Young might get in. I think Randall this year, he might get fucked this year. Even like maybe like a Miles Turner, I could see potentially him. Probably more fringe, probably not. But I could see
Trae Young being voted as a starter, the fan vote, really has me questioning the mindset of people voting.
It's funny thing with Knicks fans, what Brunson people talk about too, because obviously the Knicks have this huge fan base, but if you just know New Yorkers, like we're just as a collective, we're like too cool to get online and vote. Like you just either, for example, you see all those MLB ones, like the years where like the Royals would have like 8 fucking people, or like the
Tigers did it one year too.
Who was it just with basketball? Somebody, fuck, I just had it tonight. Or Milwaukee this year.
No, I know what you're talking about. When Andrew Wiggins got in.
Yeah, like Wiggins was a starter. He was averaging like, which he's a very good player, but he's averaging like 15 a game. He's fucking starting in the All-Star game.
Twitter, stuffed about.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Hashtags. It was insane.
You see, I think that's. I don't think that's exactly what happened with Lillard. Like Lillard, obviously is a great player, deserves to be an All-Star, but he just shouldn't be the starter.
If you ask a casual NBA fan, like who's the best point guard in the East, the casual fan would say Lillard.
For sure, yeah.
They don't watch.
If someone hit you over the head with a hammer 2 years ago, and you woke up today, where like Jalen Brunson's averaging 27 points a game, or just like 26.6, you'd be like, holy fuck, he's legitimately having a better year than Damian Lillard, like by pretty much every metric.
So, Ev, you weren't here, and I asked Meek this question. Are you concerned about Jalen Brunson maybe not having the talent to take over as like a true number one superstar? Are you concerned about him kind of maxing out right now?
No, because I think he's been getting better. Like I think like he's literally having a better year I think some people thought that last year, and he's literally just having a better year. He's coming into his own even further. I think the problem is, I think as a guy, he's a small guard. So I think he can absolutely take over a game offensively. Like I think he's the guy that I want to have the ball in his hands with time running down. But I think the OG trade was phenomenal. I think we're still like, we need that one more piece. Like I still think, even though we're playing great, like the Celtics and the Bucks are still clearly the class of the East. You guys are right there, and I think we're just like right below you guys.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing, like, and so it's weird because I think we're still in the spot where we might end up losing in the second round again. But I think we still need that one more piece to take us over the top, and I don't think that's really like a Brunson thing. I think it's just the way the league is now. Like the Celtics are just low to a talent. People talk about Derek White being an All-Star, which I feel like there's too much. I just think there's too much talent in the East where he's having a great year, but I feel like it's just very winning based.
That's fair. I'm a Celtics fan.
Like when you look at the other guards like Brunson and Mitchell and Maxey, like these are guys who are having monster seasons.
The East,
and also Derek White's a product of his system.
And like I think
you put Derek White on the Cavs or something, or maybe somebody even worse. You put Derek White on the Pistons. How's he doing?
Yeah, but he'd get more minutes. I know.
I think he's a winning type player, and but I think when you have some of these other, like you have like a guy like Adebayo who's like leading a playoff team. You have a guy like Paolo, like the Magic, the first year they're actually winning. Like a guy like they deserve to have somebody.
Oh, I'm not going to fight for Derek White here at all. I mean, you're right. The East is so stacked, and the East is so talented. Maybe more than a long time. Like when's the East been this good?
I think this resurgence of like Brunson, Mitchell, Maxey, all these, like especially Brunson, Maxey coming on and going from like guys that were bubbling to like two like legit stars, becoming potentially like superstar type players. I think that's really like lifted the bar. Where you always had like Curry, like you had Luka come in the mix, like all the West always had like the forwards when you just have like LeBron, Durant, like now you have Edwards coming, Kawhi, AD, Paul George. You have all these guys in like Booker at shooting guard, like all SGA now is becoming like a top 5 player.
Absolutely,
top 5 player. I mean, he's third right now in the MVP voting.
I mean,
well deserved.
Incredible. I mean,
yeah.
The season Embiid, what's Embiid averaging 37 a game, 36, 37 a game. Just
a little rough one last
like
night
video,
Pacers, but yeah.
Still just video game numbers, belt to ass tour.
Yeah, that's right.
Video game numbers, but we'll get into the biggest thing of the week now. We got like 15 minutes left. We've obviously talked about it all week, but we'll put our finishing touches on it. Championship Sunday coming up. I just give kind of our final discussions on Ravens Chiefs. I've said I've locked in Ravens money line early in the week. I'm all in on the Ravens. I think they're the best team. I had everyone bring a couple long shot touchdown scores for the games as well. But I'll go with Smitty first. Any I know like I said we've discussed it, but any like final thoughts? Ravens Chiefs.
The line went your way, Ev. I mean, it was 3.5, then went to 3. Now it's at 4.
Yep.
So that sort of thinking is going with the Ravens. I'm still thinking it's going to be an ugly game. The 44.5 hasn't moved. I'm going under. I'm still for the field goal kicking. 1.5 for each, Buckner and Justin Tucker. I think the lack of big plays and the hard fought defense is going to show itself. A lot of getting stopped at the 30. At the 35, and you got 2 kickers who can boot them from 50 up to 60 consistently. So I like those plays a lot. As far as like a long shot touchdown, I'll look it up right now, but I said yesterday, Hardman over 10.5 yards. He's going to get an opportunity. Whether he takes advantage of it, that's his prerogative. But the Hardman touchdown, I'm trying to look up TD scores right now.
I think he was really high. Like he was like 850 or something crazy like that. He was pretty high up there.
Yeah, he's 750 right now. Hardman scored a touchdown. I don't believe in it, but if you want to take a shot, he's going to get a chance.
Oh, and a quick something I didn't mention off the top for this game. Sounds like Mark Andrews is playing. He's
been practicing this week.
He practiced in full pretty much all week. He is playing. So it leads me to my touchdown score prop. I still think taking a shot at Likely is not a bad play here. I still think he gets a lot of love. He's shown in this absence how fucking good he is. He was a stud at Coastal. He's been an absolute stud for the Ravens. Even when Andrews was healthy, he was really emerging as the second tight end, getting the shot as the full-time tight end. He's been a beast. Scored a bunch of touchdowns. Lamar loves him in the red zone. He clearly just loves the tight end. I'm seeing him like 3-4, like depending on what shop you're looking at. Like plus 340 to even like 4 up to like 410 I've seen. I think that's a good price for Likely. So I brought for me, I told everyone just to bring one. I brought kind of like a long shot and then like a really long shot for both games. That was kind of my long shot. I mean, Aguilar scored last week. I know he's not like the biggest target. He literally scored a touchdown last week. He scored a few this year. He's plus I'm seeing 700 in some places. I see 800 went down to 700. I don't think taking a shot at Nelson Aguilar is a bad player at that price. It was like if you're looking for like a real deep long shot.
He's not bad when he catches the ball.
That's right. What do you think? What do you got, Clemmer?
All right, so I have 2 here. So I have Patrick Mahomes. I did this last week, didn't work out, but I mean the Ravens have really good defense. I could see a play breaking down, and then Mahomes just having to improvise, and he's really good at that. It's plus 475. I like that a lot too. And then look, it worked last week. We got to bring it back. So the monster money line's back, and this is fun. I'm adding some NBA teams tonight. So you got the Bucks money line tonight, the Clippers money line tonight, and the Niners money line. That's plus 149, and you get a little fun. You get the Friday Sunday jump. That's
Raptors are beating the Clippers tonight. Watch, lay it now.
No,
lay it right now. They're plus 7.5. Raptors at home are beating the Clippers.
And then the Bucks are at home against the Cavs.
Yeah, I think the Cavs are going to beat the Clippers. I'm adding both of them to my card.
You don't like the monster. You're going against the monster money line parlay.
Because you put those 2 teams tonight on the monster money line parlay.
Yeah.
Yes, I think the Ravens are going to win. Yes, I think the 49ers are going to win. But add Cavs money line. I think they're plus 5.5, who I liked already.
Yeah.
And Raptors plus 7.5, who I liked already. Put both of those money lines on my card right now.
But Smitty,
I think you're a shitbird.
Smitty, he doesn't have the Ravens in the monster money line.
No, it's the Niners.
He likes the Chiefs.
I do like the Chiefs.
Ravens are only minus 200.
Because I was gonna say I was debating doing my own monster money line of just Ravens Niners. It's basically like even money. It's like minus 105,
minus 109,
like plus 100. I was seeing like something like that.
No, yeah, I'm on the Chiefs. But yeah, I don't like Smitty going against the Monster Money parlay. There's a special place in hell for people like Smitty who go against the Monster Money parlay.
I kind of like that, Ev. Even though the Chiefs, I think, are going to keep it close and probably cover. You take the minus 109 Ravens and 49ers. I mean, you're just hoping for the Ravens to win, and then it could be all gravy for the second game.
Because we've seen all week. I mean, the live movement, but I think the dogs are getting some action. And we're just seeing opposite line. We're seeing total opposite line movement. We've seen both these lines move a full point. I mean, not a tell-all. Vegas, as much as Vegas knows everything, they also sometimes just don't know shit at the same time. It's always something to consider. I always at least look at the line movement like that. At least take it in serious consideration.
I'm very happy I got the Niners at minus 6.5 earlier in the week because now it's at 7.5.
We're seeing 7.5 some places or if you want 7, you're paying at least minus like 120 most places.
Tough.
I did see one minus 115 last night. I don't know if that's still available. But for the second game, we'll get in the game where some touchdown scores. My first one, long shot, which I felt like an idiot. I didn't give it out. I played it last week. He scored last week, so I'm going back to the well. Josh Reynolds plus 410 has become like clearly the Lions' like second receiver. Obviously, Laporte is like the second, I would say, target, but it's become clearly like wide receiver 2. Has been getting some targets. Scored last week. Scored 5 touchdowns in the regular season, so not like it's a total anomaly for him to score. Like I said, plus 410. I just think he gets a lot of having to account for St. Brown and having to account for Laporta. He's going to get a lot of one-on-ones. He's a guy that you can see like in the red zone that you could potentially lose. I think Reynolds plus 410 is a solid play. I think that's my favorite one. I like likely that too, but I think it's my favorite one of the group. And a long shot that I just feel like this is more like a feeling in my plums play, if you will. I just think he is so due. And they love to just do quirky shit with him every now and then. He scored in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Mr. Kyle Juszczyk.
Yeah, that was mine.
Is plus 1,000. It's plus 1,000. I feel like I've been waiting for this Juszczyk.
Oh no, it's 700 now.
Okay. So I've seen a couple. The ones I saw were I saw 950 on one and 1,000 on the other. So I might have to go see if I can get that locked.
I think the secret's out. But he's home. He's a fan favorite. If they're running up the score,
got his wife. His wife's a brilliant fucking designer, seamstress. Yep. She's done a great job.
If they're on the 2 or 3 yard line, they're going to give him at least a shot.
I just feel like I've been waiting for this Juszczyk touchdown for like 2 months, and what better time than the NFC Championship game?
Yep.
Kyle Juszczyk. What do you got, Clemmer?
I have the Niners defense. Okay. Plus 380. I could see Goff. I mean, Goff's interceptions have gone steadily down, so maybe this isn't the wisest play in the world, but I could see something happening where I just think that Niners defense is really good. I think the Niners are going to win this game fairly easily. If there's any, this isn't breaking news, but of these last 4 games, going back to the Bills-Chiefs, if there's any blowout, this was the game I kind of had circled. So I think this one could go awry. So I think maybe there's a late something crazy happening where the Niners, it's a reach. I feel more strong about the Mahomes one.
Another thing, too, that I was like, if you look at, I forget if we posted like Barstool Gambling or somebody else did, the splits of Jared Goff in a dome to not in a dome, significant. A lot more turnovers, a lot less efficient.
I feel better about this pick
less efficient, less yards. They win less. They were like 3-3 as opposed to like their winning percentage was significantly higher in a dome. They obviously were very good at home this year. I think the more and more I think about this game, because early in the week I was like was thinking Lions. I think I might be all over the Niners here. I would want it at 7. I would even buy it to 7 minus 120. I think this game has a chance if things go to get ugly. The Lions have so much fight though. It's like I don't want it. It's the part of me where like my heart doesn't want to root for that.
Right.
But my head is telling me that the Niners could come here after a weird kind of not a great performance last week. I know the Packers defense isn't like something you should be super fearful of, but I really don't think the Lions is either. The Debo thing scares me.
Me too.
That worries me for sure.
A lot.
But because they really haven't played well without him. But I think the Niners come in here and potentially cruise. I think I'm going to be betting and laying the points with the Niners.
I agree with you, Ev, but that also
and the over. The over. The over I will be on as well. I will be on the over as well.
And you want to talk about a value play, Ev? The Juszczyk was my play as well. I saw plus 700. You want to go with super batshit crazy value responsibly. You put $10 for Kyle Juszczyk to score 2 touchdowns. Guess how much you're paying out?
Got to be like 50 to 1.
$10 wins you 1,250.
Oh,
so what is it?
12,500 to 1 right now on the ESPN Sportsbook.
It's 125 to 1.
No, right?
12,000 plus 12,500.
Yeah, 125.
Oh my God.
125 to 1. Holy.
You can see a scenario where maybe they get them one early and then it's a blowout. And, they're giving McCaffrey some rest.
I thought about that with Elijah Mitchell. His odds are less. It's like 550, 600. I thought about
he's plus 6,000.
I thought about Elijah Mitchell to score a touchdown as them just give him one up the middle from the 3. They're up 17 in the fourth quarter. They're inside the 5.
You can see a scenario where Debo healthy and they're rolling, that the 49ers put up a 50 burger and they're not going to let up at all in the NFC Championship game with Shanahan. If you gets one early, that $10 to win 1,250, I'm taking a shot.
Unreal. I like that. It's one of those. I hope for as someone who's going to be betting the Niners, I hope for the sake of them that if Debo can at least be out there, at least if the defense at least just has to account for him, I think that does a lot for them. If he can at least just be on the field, even if he's not 100%, it seems his presence alone seems to be enough. Even games when he hasn't had big games, they've dominated, and when he's been out, they haven't looked this great.
We'll be streaming that one together, Ev.
Yes, I'm glad you're around. Yeah, we'll be streaming here. Be 6:30 Eastern Time Sunday. New York guys will be streaming the NFC Championship game. So yeah, have a couple of touchdown plays. I'll have Juszczyk. I'll have Reynolds.
So we're both going to be on the Niners for that one then, huh?
I'll be on the Niners in the over.
Good.
I'll be on the Niners at least -7 and the over 151. Or excuse me, 151. Too much college basketball. But getting to plays tonight, I've got 2. I've got Michigan State +3. I think they get revenge for what they laid just a stinker against Wisconsin. One of those weird lines. Wisconsin's 15. They're at home. -3. I like Michigan State. And also, Cal tonight. I like -2.5. Like them a lot. Playing Stanford at home. The future ACC rivalry. That is insane to say. Cal Stanford. But next year that'll be an ACC game. Smitty, what do you got tonight?
Well, I have 2 new plays that I didn't initially have. I have the Toronto Raptors +250 money line.
What a dick.
And
what a dick.
The Cleveland Cavaliers +180 money line. The anti-monster money line.
Oh, no.
Put them both together.
Yes.
Parlay them both, baby.
Terrible. You're a scumbag.
+250.
What a piece of shit.
I'll be honest. I did like those 2. I didn't pull the trigger on the spreads, but I do like those 2 spreads, +5.5 and +7.5. With the Raptors at home and +5.5 of the Cavs on the road as well. But I also have Blues Kraken over 5.5, St. Joe St. Bonnie's over 144.5. And with the Raptors, I like them. I was going to take Raptors +75 or +7.5. I really, really like Gary Trent Jr. over 12.5 points.
What do you got, Clemmer?
Yeah, I have the monster money line parlay. Smitty's trying to ruin it, which is fine. That's what he does. He ruins things. That's fine. He's a bad person.
I'm trying to make people money.
Yeah, me too. I have been, this NFL season, I have been. Now, also this month, I have been more than you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
How are you doing in NBA when you're putting them in the monster money line parlay?
Let's not talk about that.
Exactly.
Clippers, Bucks, and Niners money line. Monster money line parlay. That's good. It's good.
One of those 2 teams is going to win. One of those 2
trying to sell
tonight.
myself.
All right.
If I yell it's good enough, it'll make me happy.
One thing I want to point out too before we finish, I forgot to bring this up with the Lions game Lions Niners game that I had seen that I thought was interesting tidbit. Shit out Warren Sharp. He puts out good stuff like matchup based, which is what I try to look for gambling wise, specific matchups. Jared Goff loves to go over the middle more than any quarterback, was the best at it. That is the best. Or excuse me, the Niners are one of the, I believe, second best in the NFL at defending it. Just something to think about. They Ben Johnson thing. Coordinator love to go over the middle. Jared Goff loves to go over the middle. Niners defend it very well. I imagine Fred Warner has a lot to do with that.
What else I like about that? That Reynolds play. If they can't go over the middle, they're going to look at other options, and that's where Reynolds could sneak in there.
Yeah, I like
that play. I'm riding with you on that, by the way, Ev.
Reynolds +410.
Yeah, let's go.
Appreciate everyone watching. Remember, like the stream. Like I said, we'll be streaming Saturday from New York, 6:30. I'm sure Chicago.
Sunday.
Or excuse me, you're right. Sunday, 6:30. We'll be streaming the NFC Championship game. Like I said, like the stream. Thank everyone for watching. Thank everybody in the booth. Appreciate you guys sticking around. See you on Sunday night.
Barstool Radio with the dog up next.
We got Dog Fridays up.
Here we go. Let's go.
The inaugural.
Oh, man.
Dog Fridays, baby. Stick around. Barstool Radio with the dog is up next.